Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about the new Carina challenges made in collaboration with CCP. And before I go any further, I need to make sure that I put myself across in the best possible way. When I discuss these challenges, that is what am I discussing? I am discussing the challenges, not the people themselves. I have seen a lot of extremely wild comments directed towards both fintech and karate Mike, and I want to make it clear from the offset that I not do support any of such behavior, and it is important to speak on the subject matter, and also it is important to realize that when and if I am criticizing what I see in front of me, I'm criticizing the challenges, not the people themselves in their personal lives or anything of the sort. Do I think that couple of these content creators have made a mistake with these challenges? Yes, absolutely. Do I like these challenges? Absolutely not. However, on the other hand, fintech is a teammate of mine. We have had our arguments. We, for most part, in general, get along very well. I do consider him an in-game friend of mine, and that will not change. At the same time, as I said before, do I think that these challenges are well made, and do I intend to defend him from all the criticism? Absolutely not. In fact, I have plenty of mine to direct towards that as well. But the most important thing is, again, just don't make it wild, don't make it, personal, don't make it too nasty. That said, community effectively has already spoken, and again, to be perfectly clear, do I agree with community most of the time or all the time when it comes to the reaction to difficult content? Absolutely not. For instance, my general sentiment towards Winter of Woe Absorbman Fight was vastly different than majority of the community, because I like that type of content. I like the type of content where I can try and get angry at it for like 2 hours and try and solo it with like a rank 3 She-Hulk. Did I like the fact that there was energy cost? Absolutely not. I think it's a disgustingly awful decision. Do I like the robot objective, which I think is, badly designed or selected objective? Absolutely not. But in its essence, I absolutely love the Absorb Man fight. I love the difficulty. I love to push myself, like to challenge myself as well. So why is this different? Why is my attitude different towards these challenges, especially the ones coming from fintech and Karate Mike? Well, I think the key problem there comes twofold. And why Legacy's challenge, not only because it seemingly is easier, is much, much, much better designed and much more community friendly. And the first thing, the very, very first thing is that these challenges effectively force you to do rank ups that you might not want to do. And in my case, I absolutely do not want to do. And the level of difficulty effectively demands you the highest rank possible on these, or it's going to be again significantly more expensive or even more miserable time. But even with these champions ranked, you're probably looking at relatively unenjoyable experience, which is where you're going to get further. The problem currently is that we need to use very, very, very top of the endgame resources to get back what ultimately accounts for similar or not much better rewards, because we need to rank up many champions for these challenges at a 6-star level, more than likely to rank 5, in order to get back 0 rank 3 7-star materials, very limited amount of rewards in general aside from the selectors, and I think one rank 1 to 2 7-star rank up gem. Again, just doesn't scream a very good investment to reward ratio for what is required to do these challenges somewhat, decently well. And that is, again, a big, massive problem. On personal note, for instance, there are plenty of champions that I absolutely like. We can go directly to the Baron Zemo ones. Like, I really don't like the champion. I want nothing to do with it. I have no plans. I had no plans to rank up Baron Zemo as a champion. I'm forced to. That's fine. On a personal level, I have at least 3 skill champions that, I want to rank up before I can even think of, investing in any other skill champions. And these are top of the game resources that are still quite hard to acquire, that still cost a lot of money. And again, it just does not seem well that if I do rank up Baron Zemo, then I'm going to get back effectively my money's worth. at the same time, I'm still gonna have a relatively annoying experience because I absolutely do not think that using Baron Zemo and Grandmaster's Gauntlet getting to Nick Fury is going to be anything I would remotely call for like a challenging or enjoyable time, which is what leads us to the second point, which is ultimately forced item usage for sure. Bringing in the Baron Zemo teams for Baron Zemo, or the entire team of Baron Zemos for Grandmaster's Gauntlet, it is going to be rough, without a doubt. It is not going to be something that I personally would call an enjoyable challenge. It would be something that I'm already going in frustrated by the fact that I have to use like one specific champion I don't want to be using, that I had to invest rank up materials I didn't want to be using. And I will also absolutely definitely feel like I have to just vomit my revives through it because, those fights are going to be absolutely brutal. And that is the second part. Realistically, you're gonna use this does feel like a revive grab as well. Now, granted, I haven't done these 4 challenges myself yet. However, I have taken a sneak peek of some of the best players in the world, like Pepe using like 16 revives to down 1 warlock with a mojo. And it just screams disgusting. It really does. And to put it kind of like in more simple perspective, I am the target audience for these challenges. I really am in like every sense of the word. I have played this game for a very long time. I'm not the best player in the world by no means, but I'm relatively decent. I have relatively big account, and I have done every single piece of challenging content in this game thus far. And I have not only done those pieces of content, I have rushed through them. I have done them as soon as I got them because I always wanted to get the rewards. I always wanted the challenge. I always stream this stuff as soon as it comes out, and I try to get them all done effectively, as soon as humanly possible. Often, just doing that for the next day or two. This is the first time ever I can remember myself just not wanting to do this challenge. And I think that's kind of like the biggest shift here is because Kabam and Karate Mike and Kabam Mike and everybody else saying that these are meant for the 1% of the player base. And again, for in pretty much every aspect of the word, it's like that would fit me. Playing a Masters Alliance. Okay, this season we're taking it a bit easy. Our alliance is about top 30 in AQ. We do the raids. I have never finished lower than C5, that's top 100 in battlegrounds. I've been in C4 and, frequently have managed to get my way into podium as well in the seasons. Do all of the content. I got my mythic title from playing Necropolis and rushing absolutely through it. And this, for pretty much the first time ever, I just don't want to do. It just reeks not worth it, not enjoyable enough, and kind of shit. Really does. And that's very, very surprising to me because I absolutely did not expect for this to happen. Ultimately, obviously, the legacies challenges I think are the most reasonable for the exact opposite of the reasons that I mentioned before. I don't have to invest top end game resources in his challenge. I need to use a 5-star tier 1 ascension dust or some tier 5 CC or something like that. Sure, why not? I'm perfectly willing to make that investment for any champion. Rank 5 5-star Zemo, sure, why not? I don't care because those are not resources that I desperately need for other game modes. That's one thing. So I think that's a massive W for Legacy because the 5-star challenge. Second thing is, it also feels something that's, again, much more manageable and skill rewarding. Still not going to be easy to play like 7-4-6 and defeat those final bosses. It's still probably going to use some revives, but it's definition of a challenge that you can skill your way through with minimal or no item use. Making the correct decisions, choosing the path that you tackle, and so on and so forth. And in the other 4 challenges, you basically have no choice. You have to go through all the bullshit that's put in front of you. You have to invest resources and materials that you do not want to invest. And you need to do the fights that you just, again, have no choice in partaking. sorry, ultimately, I think that, yeah, Legacy is the clear winner here by designing a challenge. I think Legacy challenge could have even be, slightly more difficult. But one thing that kind of also grabbed me away from this entire thing is because this is what our own content creators, our members of our own community, put in front of us. And I think that there is an extremely large disconnect somehow uh, between them and the community, and or I don't know the term enjoyable yet challenging, or fun but challenging. Because to me, I would say this is not it. I might still do them eventually. I'm definitely not going to be in a rush to do them by any means, and I might just not do them again. Uh, but for the first time ever, I'm not, you know, excited about doing them. I'm not, looking forward to getting through this entire set of Korean challenges, which is kind of shocking if you think about it, because this is coming from community, right? From community members, from CCP members, and you'd kind of think that these would be the most challenging one, the most fun and challenging ones yet. The ones that we love, the things that we would like to see and do and we find interesting. Because how can we possibly, l- leverage any criticism towards Kabam from being disconnected with their player base if the content creators are disconnected with the player base? It's just kind of wild. And again, I don't want to be kind of like overly hyperbolic here. And I don't want to, give too much importance to my own personal subjective like feeling toward this or anything of the sort. But I found it very weird and strange that this just genuinely ruined my mood. And that doesn't typically happen. It doesn't happen a lot at the very least. But this entire situation with this challenge, it just honestly kind of made me upset, made me want to play the game less. I actually kind of like stopped playing one of the challenges midway through it because I was like, I really can't be bothered. It's like I'm not enjoying this. I don't find this fun. I don't think it's particularly worth it. And I kind of feel shit. It also feels shit yet again because it's the content creators who put this in front of us rather than Kabam. And it was surprising. So obviously we have a message from Kabam not to attack players, not to attack the content creators, which I completely agree. Don't make it personal. Again, we are discussing the challenges and the choice made in regards of these challenges rather than the people themselves, which is very important distinction. And don't be going and be wild in people's comment section. But some of these Kabam responses here again, I understand that Kabam Mike, for instance, would feel that they need to defend this. I absolutely do. Just don't think they are going about it the wrong way. So you do not have to do anything that you don't want to do. And this is not content that is required to progress. Sure, you may feel you need to do one for Deathless King Root piece, but you have plenty of time to do that because this is permanent content. This content is meant to be hard, it's meant to take time and cost you resources or be hard skill check. We have never said that content needs to be done itemless, and we don't design our content on that basis. If you want these rewards, you're either gonna have to be really skilled or be ready to use your stash of revives and potions, of course. And again, I think this is one more thing that kind of like escalates this entire revive nerf and consumables issue currently in the game, because this is coming on top of things, and it really does feel like Kabam is going very hard for our stash. There are plenty of times that you will get rewards for doing absolutely nothing in game. A pretty juicy Valentine's Day calendar is doing that right now. If you look at this content, which is completely optional and is permanent content that you can take on whenever you want and think it's not worth your time or resources, then you aren't required to do it. The game will always have extremely difficult content, just like there has always been. Realm of Legends is complete with 3 and 4-star champions with extremely basic abilities. Labyrinth had people using 5 stars, actually 4 stars as well. But these champions didn't take at the time went much better. Both of those were done before revive farming was ever a thing, and that Everest content, that insane challenge ahead of you, was and continues to be a good thing for the game. It's the same for WoW. People have built their skills and rosters for a while, and they should have something to challenge them and reward them for that to work. Get that you might feel that extremely challenging should fit a certain description, but that's not really fair. We will always be pushing the envelope on what content can be, whether it's more difficult or meant for more and more players, or just something wacky and zany. This will not always fit your ideal content picture of what content should be. And I accept that. I agree with that. Not all content has to be made for everybody. But again, you can make a challenging content that's not made for everybody yet, for instance, but you can still make it, interesting and fun and not feel absolutely awful. And this, for the combination of all the circumstances with the current game economy, with the rank up resource investment into champions you absolutely do not want to invest in, with the highest tier rank up resource investment, basically, with everything else around it, just does not feel good. And that is the ultimate feedback. And you can defend whoever you want to defend, you can rationalize things however you want, but ultimately the bottom line is going to be very simple: whether community thinks this is a good piece of content or a good release. Not talking specifically about level difficulty or anything else, but whether they are enjoying, whether they're looking forward to doing that content, whether they think it's awesome or not. And they don't, for the most part, overwhelmingly so. And that means something's wrong. And something's certainly wrong here. It definitely feels very, very off. It feels extremely detached from where the players are. Well, I heard comments from people obviously defending the content or trying to, that this is made for 1% of the player base. And again, I don't think it is. Or if it is, it's just not a good piece of content for 1% of the player base. I think it's maybe made for like 20 people, if that would potentially enjoy it. Maybe with different set of rewards, or more rank up materials in there to offset the rank up costs and stuff like that. Maybe. But the way it's come out right now, in its current form as it exists in the game, I don't think it has a path where any time from now it feels like good piece of content. It feels like 4-star Star-Lord in Labyrinth of Legends all over again, pretty much. Except worse, because now we have to invest our current top-end rank up resources into things we don't want to. It's kind of bizarre, I guess, where I'm at. And that's it. I know that some of you would be expected that I'm like, more mad about it, or more enraged, or more kind of like ranting and swearing. But that's the thing. Just feel bad about it. I don't feel angry. I feel like bad. I don't know, kind of like a bit shell shocked, a bit befuddled. I guess the word could be. What do you guys think? Because don't know. Yeah. I just think it's a bad piece of content. I really, really do. I don't think there's nowhere near enough incentive in it for it to be that hard. If there was like a rank 3 gem out of nowhere or something, probably the tolerance would be better. Again, the rewards to investment ratio seems shit. That, the level of enjoyment for the piece of content in itself is shit. And also kind of feels that this is like, friendly fire. This is community or friends, completely missing the mark on this as well. And again, Fintech's my mate. Getting along well. But I just keep thinking, like, why the fuck would you do that? Like, if I designed one of these challenges that I'm discussing right now, last thing I would want is my name associated with them. Or more specifically, yeah, I wouldn't want to be the one who designed these and who has to deal with all of this, because again, I just don't think they're fun or worth it. Good. I don't know what else to say. It's like, these are the first challenges ever in the history of this game that I maybe will do, maybe I won't do, but I'm not running to do. I'm definitely not excited to do. This is a definite L, no matter how you slice it. Let me know what you guys think, and I'm gonna catch you guys. Bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all been